Henry Winkler's parents called him "dumb dog" in German and would lock him in his room for weeks, convinced he was lazy or defiant. He failed geometry 4 times, couldn't even attend his own graduation, and spent years believing he wasn't good enough. But the truth was far deeper and more heartbreaking. At 31, by pure accident, Henry discovered the real reason behind his lifelong struggles, and it changed everything. His story isn't just about fame or failure, it's about survival, pain, and redemption. Henry was born in Manhattan in 1945, but his story began in Berlin before the war. His parents, Harry and Elsa, fled Nazi Germany in 1939 under the pretense of a short business trip. Harry never told Elsa that he planned never to return, saving their lives as they boarded the SS Manhattan with family jewelry hidden in chocolate boxes to rebuild their future in America. Most of their family didn't make it, including Henry's uncle Helmut, who stayed 1 extra day and was killed in Auschwitz. To honor them, Henry's name became a symbol of remembrance and resilience. Growing up in New York, he lived in a quiet Jewish neighborhood surrounded by survivors, rebuilding shattered lives. But inside their apartment, love came with pain. His father, a stern businessman, couldn't understand why his son couldn't study like other kids. Every bad grade was treated as rebellion. At school, Henry was bright and curious. But when he looked at words on a page, they disappeared. He couldn't read aloud, couldn't spell, couldn't remember lines unless he memorized them by ear. Teachers labeled him slow and classmates laughed. The shame grew louder at home, where his father's disappointment turned into anger. He was called lazy, grounded, yelled at, and locked away for weeks. What no one knew then was that Henry had dyslexia, a condition that made reading nearly impossible, and it would define his entire life. He hid his struggles through humor, turning pain into performance. Acting became his escape, a place where words didn't have to make sense as long as emotions did. But even that dream came with rejection. He failed geometry so many times he missed graduation. He applied to 28 colleges and only 2 accepted him. At Emerson, he still couldn't read, so he memorized lines from memory, improvising when his mind froze. Yale gave him a chance, but he still felt like an outsider, watching others read effortlessly while he struggled through scripts phonetically. He got fired from plays, called unhireable, and lived off noodles while working as a mover. But he refused to quit. That fight carried him to Los Angeles, where within a week he landed a small TV part, and 2 weeks later, his life changed forever. He auditioned for Happy Days and walked out as the Fonzie, a role that would define pop culture for a generation. But behind the cool leather jacket was the same terrified boy who still couldn't read. Every Monday during table reads, Henry froze. Words like invincible tripped him up. The man who played the world's smoothest icon felt like a fraud. Yet, audiences loved him. Fonzie became a phenomenon. His leather jacket ended up in the Smithsonian, and kids across America copied his "I." But fame came with pressure. His co-stars grew resentful of his popularity. The network tried to rename the show after him, and the pressure to stay perfect only deepened his private pain. Then, in 1976, his life changed again when he discovered his stepson had dyslexia. During testing, Henry realized he had it too. All those years of humiliation, anger, and confusion finally made sense. He said he was furious because every punishment, every insult, every locked door had been for nothing. It wasn't laziness, it was genetics. Even after Happy Days ended, Henry couldn't escape Fonzie. He was typecast, rejected, and dismissed by casting agents who couldn't see past the leather jacket. For nearly a decade, he couldn't find steady work. He described that period as psychic pain so deep it nearly broke him. But through therapy, his wife Stacy, and sheer willpower, he began to rebuild. In 1998, a last-minute phone call from Adam Sandler gave him a second chance. He played Coach Klein in The Waterboy, and it reignited his career. Later, he became an award-winning producer on MacGyver, and eventually earned his first Emmy at 72 for his role in Barry. The man once called Dumb Dog was now a celebrated actor, author, and advocate. But his greatest legacy wasn't on screen. It was in classrooms. In 2003, he co-created Hank Zipser, a children's book series about a boy with dyslexia, inspired by his own life. He couldn't even spell some of the words he dictated, but the book sold over 2 million copies and gave hope to countless kids who thought they were broken. He even paid from his own pocket to publish them in a special font designed for dyslexic readers. Henry Winkler turned his greatest weakness into a message of strength. Behind every smile and joke was a man who refused to let failure define him. From being called stupid by his parents to winning an Emmy in his 70s, his journey is a masterclass in resilience. And today, his voice continues to inspire anyone who's ever been underestimated. If you found Henry's story as powerful as we did, don't forget to subscribe to Hollywood Bulletin and press the bell icon for more incredible stories of Hollywood's most unforgettable lives.